Welcome, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Fatherhood Unleashed. And I'm so excited that we are doing this, to create awareness on how important the impact of a father's influence is to a child's life. And I just want to use this opportunity to welcome you all. For those who are here and for everyone who's going to be watching the replay, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us. We all know that parenting today is not a walk in the park. Like, if you just want to raise any kind of child, it's not a walk in the park. Not to talk about when you want to do it intentionally. Now, we're talking about raising children who can thrive in today's world. We all know that this is really a hard time for children at this moment, because the children we're dealing with today will not just obey your instructions. In fact, we don't even want children who will just obey without knowing, the reasons why. Because at the end of the day, when they are faced with challenges, or when they get to the point where they need to make decisions, if they don't understand the why behind those decisions they're going to make, they will still not stand firm. So it's not even about just raising children who are obedient, but do they understand why they're doing this or why they're not doing this? These are the very important things we need to take, into consideration. And we also need to understand that the children we're dealing with today will question you. Gone are the days where parents will say, do this, do that, and you dare not look your father in the face. You dare not talk back or ask a question when you're giving instructions. But hey, today we are dealing with children who will question you. They will question your values. They will even question your God, your faith. Like, they want to know the why behind everything. And it's so important that as parents we stay informed, so that we're able to stand in that place and carry out that assignment of parenting that God has called us into. And so you're welcome once again. My name is Sandra Oluwadare, and I am the founder of Winning Parenting. I'm a parenting coach and a child behavior consultant. And I decided to put this together, just to create awareness about the importance of fathers in a child's life. I mean, fathers are not assistant parents. Fathers are not parents who should be relegated to the background. They should also be at the forefront. All right. And so I have somebody that has walked the talk, joining us today as our guest. This is an outstanding speaker, and we're going to be hearing firsthand his own experiences. The person I'm talking about has raised children who are not just children. Like, he has raised teenagers who can thrive, who are thriving, children who have lived in different cultures, different climes, and are still put together. And I'm so excited because we are not just talking about philosophy or research today. We're talking about somebody who has done the work. And so I have with me Mr. Efe Emore here, and I'm going to be bringing him up shortly. I will read his profile, but before I do that, let me just give you another teaser. Okay, so stay with us. Thank you. All right, you're welcome back. So Mr. Efe Emore is the CEO of IE Tech. He is a senior business analyst, and he specializes in accessing complex business processes and translating needs into technical specifications with strong communication and interpersonal skills. He's proficient at project management, eliciting requirements and trainings, and mentoring teams. Some of his contributions have streamlined software development, and third-party vendor engagements for international financial institutions by conducting business process analysis, identifying
Wow.
key issues, gaps, and needs, and creating both. This one is a technical term. AS and to B documentation. Okay, so pardon me. All right. He has also designed, developed, and deployed full enterprise application, including database structure, as well as writing system and business requirements and functional specifications for ACH, RTGS, SSTP, and FX processing. Okay, so this is a tech daddy who is hands-on. All right, let me continue. He has planned and implemented nationwide currency redenomination project in Ghana, from design to use cases and test scripts. He's received a commendation and recognition from the bank's CEO. He has also assembled and directed a team of 12 technical specialists to address urgent anti-money laundering regulatory requirements, identified gaps, and generated software solution to enable existing software to render reports in user-friendly format. So Mr. Emore is a tech daddy, and he has done so well. Like, I know him personally and I know what I'm talking about. He is also a hands-on father who has collaborated well with his lovely wife, and we're going to be hearing from him share with us some of the strategies he's been able to deploy to create a harmonious father-child relationship between him and his children. So we have with us here Mr. Efe Emore. Thank you so much for doing this with us today. It's such a delight to have you here. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. The only thing I will say about your introduction is, who are you talking about?
Oh my
You said he has
God.
done it. No, there's no done when it comes to parenting. We are doing it. It's a continuous thing. So we are
Yes,
working,
sir.
it's a continuous work in progress. Well, thank you so much for that elaborate introduction. I honestly
You're
didn't
welcome.
recognize the person you are talking about. So, welcome everybody. I'm just going
Thank
to
you so
briefly talk about, you mentioned the topic, navigating fatherhood, strategies for harmonious father-child relationship. There is no hard and fast rule about it, so I'll just share my thoughts in about 10, 15 minutes, then I'll open it up for questions. It will be more enjoyable when it's interactive. Uh, So we'll talk about it. Okay, let me start. Though I'm not expecting to everybody listening to me to be a Christian, I'm going to quote a few verses from the Bible, but it should apply to all men, irrespective of their faith, because a child is a child. We all probably have heard this scripture, Proverbs 22, verse 6. Proverbs 22, verse 6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. I just want to start with that scripture, but take it from another angle. Train up a child. We talk of training up a child, training up a child. I want us to take a step back. Who trained up the father before they became fathers? Who trained up the fathers? Or rather, who will train up the fathers? The truth is, some of us were not trained per se. I can use the word that we were taught. Some of us were taught. There's a difference between teaching and training. The best example I can come up with is, can you imagine teaching somebody how to swim? You want to teach him how to swim. You put them in a classroom. Oh, you raise one hand, drop it down. Raise the next hand, drop it down. No matter how long you teach that in the class, I can assure you that person will not know how to swim when you put him in water. Teaching is important, but training is critical to understanding. A lot of us as fathers, we stumbled into it. We didn't we are actually not trained. Maybe we learned one or two things, but there was no formal training. So that's why I'm asking this question again. Who trains the fathers today? And who will train them? Now, when I say things like that, that's why I like events like this. And I must commend the organizers. Thank you and well done. These are opportunities that men should take and latch onto. Men don't learn. I keep saying this thing. Men don't learn. At events like this, we learn from one another. That's why I'll try and keep my introduction and talk very short so that we can talk and interact. Before I even start, there was talking of not learning from one another. There was a TV show some time ago. I don't know if you've heard of this show before. A Million Little Things. It was a brilliant show to me, at least. It was about four men that spent so much time together with each other. They went to all the sports events, all the family events, family picnic. Their son is graduating. They consider themselves best friends, four of them. Unfortunately, one of them now committed suicide. When he committed suicide, the other three men were devastated, as in, they were shocked. Turned out that they didn't even know that the fourth man has been suffering from depression. It was then they realized their friendship was basically shallow, without depth. Unfortunately, that's the state of most relationships with men. This is common with us. Most men, we don't have deep relationships with one another. We don't learn the real things in life. We don't talk. When we sit down to talk, we talk football, we talk politics, but that's it. We don't know what is happening to each and every one of us. So that's why, once again, I'm commending the organizers of this. It's a good forum for us to learn from one another. This is a formal training for ourselves. We're going to train ourselves and learn. So in the next 10 minutes, let's say maximum, I hope I can keep it down so that other people can interact, we can interact properly. In the next 10 minutes, I'll just present like 4 strategies. After that, then hopefully I can have contributions from the other people listening. And then more importantly, questions and answers. Let's learn from one another. To me, that's the crux of this discussion. So strategy number 1. Are we ready for that? Strategy number 1, I'll say get a model. When I use the word training, the best way we learn is by observation. The best training is practicals. Get a model. And one of the things I say is don't be afraid of the model you get. Nobody's perfect. But there's 1 or 2 things you can learn from any model you see. Do you have any father-child relationship that you admire? Even from far or near, do you have anybody? Get a model. What are they doing? What do you like about it? Ask yourself some questions. What do you like about it? What can you learn from them? When you see the child and the father respond to one another, what are you learning? Observe and learn. That is training. Observe and learn. How responsive is the child to the father? How responsive is the father to the child? How happy are they when they are together? Ask yourself these questions when you're observing. It's important to have a model you are looking at. As you're asking the questions, you see what you can model, and of course, there are some things you can't fake. But see what you can model. Who can I learn from? Who is out there that I know that I can learn from? What can you learn from their interaction? Learn different things. Because as I keep saying it, we're all different people. Different things will appeal to you. When you see the way he relates with a child, I like this, I don't like this. Learn and observe. Learn and observe. Nobody has all the answers. That's why we need to learn. Okay. How does the father share his interest with the child? What are you observing? Oh, okay. Let me just mention this now before we continue. Parenting is complicated. Don't ever take it for granted. For instance, you might admire Mr. A, the way he's treating child A well. But that same Mr. A, when he interacting with child B, it might not be as good as you like. It is complicated. Every child is different, but just know that it takes only one I got it right moment to turn things around. And the children will. And what I like about children is children are very forgiving. They are naturally forgiving of their parents. So our biggest fear is, oh, I'll make a mistake. All your child wants is your effort, your sincerity. Once you've gotten it right once, you've gotten that child. So don't be afraid to, oh, I'm learning the wrong thing, I've done the wrong. Children are extremely forgiving, extremely, though, especially when it comes to their parents. Don't be scared of that. Learn what you can, experiment, learn. Parenting is complicated. Child A might like it. Oh, I did something for child A. It worked and you have a great relationship. You did it for child B, it's not working. Take a step back and learn from child B. I'll talk about that when I'm talking of our second strategy, but just know that parenting is complicated. There's no hard and fast rule about it, but don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. You make them, you correct them. And in a loving environment, it won't be an issue in the long run. That's why I say having a model, yes, but there are some models, it might not work for you. What you are seeing with this model, it works with his own child, it worked in his own situation, but it might not work for you. But having a model gives you what I call a base to start from. Okay, I like the way you handle this. I don't. Okay, you are learning, but have a base and have a model. And if you don't have any physical model, get one. Get one from the Bible. Get one from books. Get one from movies. I say this thing. Get even the we learn one or two things, not just to laugh. Get one from movies, or you can create one in your mind. A mishmash of, oh, I like the way Cosby handled this kind of Cosby show. This part, Sanford and Son. This part. There's different shows, different people, put them together, have a model you are working with, and build your own model. Okay? Your imagination is wonderful. This is what I think is ideal. It might work for you, it might not. But have a model as a base in how you deal with your children. Now, talking of your children, strategy number 2. I hope I didn't spend too many, because I want to see if I can do this in 10, 15 minutes. Strategy number 2. Know your child. I want to repeat that. Know your child. Know the child as an individual. Each child is a unique individual. Underline that word, unique. Each child is unique. I mean, I've said, I keep giving these examples. All my children are different. Raised in the same house, the same household. Typical example is even food. One of them likes eba, the other one considers eba as not food, as punishment. You need to know these things. They were raised in the same house, the same time, but they are different. Hey, Mr. A, when this one sees Gary, oh, you are punishing us. But the other one is throwing a party. Know your children individually. Take an interest in their life. Be involved. All the child needs is to know the child needs your presence. And they know when you are doing it haphazardly. The child needs your presence. And as you spend time with them, be available for them. I keep telling, there's this I think it was in the 70s or early 80s when there's this advert in NTA. Spend time with your children while it still matters. Because I'm assuring you, there's a time will come, it does not matter anymore. Spend time with your children while it still matters. Know them, listen to them, know what excites them. Know, I said, each child, tell your, this one, I know this one is hard for some of my Nigerian and African brothers. Tell your children you love them every day, no matter how old they are, no matter how they pretend as if you are annoying them. Tell them. Assure they say daddy stop. I know. Tell them. Continue telling them. Let it be a part of their life. They should know and go to bed knowing that you love them every day. No matter how old they get, tell them, disturb them with it. It should be a part and constant in their life. Another part of it is play with your children. Play with them. As in play with them. As in if you have boys, fall on the floor, roll with them. The girls, Play rough play with them. They love things like that. As you get older, of course, you manage the play, but play with your children. Let them know you play with them. As you are walking by, punch this one, do this, do something. Yeah, with your children. They know you are there, they feel your presence, and they understand. There are sometimes when, depending on your schedule and all, no matter no matter how busy you are, even if it means establishing a timetable, work out something. Work out something. And something else I want to mention is, what else? Take responsibility for the relationship with your child. It's up to you, not. Yes, of course, they play a role as they get older, but the responsibility is yours. Take responsibility. And finally, about knowing your children, I want to mention these conflicts. No matter what happens, there will be conflicts. The key here is to deal with it calmly and respectfully. I'll quote another scripture here. This one is like, I call this scripture, it gives me, it checks me. Colossians 3, verse 21. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. I like the language of the Bible. Let me put it like that. When I say things like the Bible is complete, but when it tells me, provoke not your children, as an aside, as a joke, I normally say, the scripture says, fathers, provoke not your children. Maybe it's okay for mothers to provoke the children, but that's a joke. Keyword is, this is a tough admonition. There are things you want to do, the children will push your buttons. As in, the children will push your buttons. You just have to be sensitive to each child. What you've just done, I'm disciplining you, but you're also watching out for, am I provoking them to anger? What even makes it harder is, as I keep saying it, each child is different. Child A, what works for child A may not work for child B. You do something to child A in correction, you will identify it as love. You do it to child B, he's all provoked and ready to burst. So these are the challenges. We should take time, know your children and know what provokes them. Each and every child is different. Don't provoke your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. There's another part of the scripture, lest the short keyword is, we are training them, but you are you are in a difficult position. You can push them to actually rebel, not just against you, but against God, against everything about God, against so many things. You have such a powerful hold in their life that if you don't handle it well, they will revolt. Provoke not your children to anger. Our job is very simple. You have to give them wings to fly and a root to come back to. They know they are rooted in you, rooted in the house, rooted in the family. But you also leave them to fly. That's a difficult thing. As you are talking to them, this child, do this, do this, do this, because don't let them get to the point where they'll say, I don't care anymore. At the end of the day, what the child just needs to know is that they are loved, they are accepted, and they are valued. In all your discipline, let that always stand out. Don't provoke them to the point where they feel unloved, unaccepted, or disvalued, or undervalued, or not valued at all. This is where all the time you spent with them over the years comes into play. You know your child. Child A, I can treat him like this. Child B, I can treat him like this. Child C. Know your children. This is key. In the same vein, I want to use this to dovetail into what I call strategy number 3. Strategy number 3 is tell the children about yourself. As you are knowing your children, let them know you. Your children are watching you. You'll be amazed at what they think about you, what they understand about you. Why I'm saying this, why it's important is, if you don't tell them about yourself, they will make assumptions and fill in the gaps themselves. Oh, this is Don't make them make assumptions. Let them be. I mean, as somebody I know always says, assumption is not intelligence. Instead of them to assume, let them know you. Oh, I want to get to the point where your child will know whatever they want to do at the back of their mind, something will ring. Hey, daddy will not like this. Or hey, daddy will like this. Or oh, let them know it and know it for sure, not assuming. By the time they are, if it's always ringing in their head, they know what you like or what you don't like, and they are accurate. You've raised a good child. The child knows you. How do they get to know you? Because if they fill in the gaps themselves, they may be wrong and make assumptions that will not pay the family. So let them know you. How will they know you? Talk to them. Have a relationship with them. Let them know about your job when it's possible or your business. Let them know as they are growing up, I'm going to work. Why? What do you do in the office? If I do this. Explain as much as their age allows them to understand. Let them know you. Let them know how you negotiate. Like this morning, just today, I was talking to one of my sons. Oh, he wanted to talk to Susan. Okay, have you negotiated with him? Have you priced this? Price this, price this, price this. Bring that. Let them know how you negotiate. What do you look at when you are negotiating? What do you look at when you are, for instance, considering an investment? Oh, of course, as they get older, the discussions changes. But from day one, let them know how you think as much as possible. Well, I'm looking at this investment. What are you looking for? If they are old enough, say, do you know what is return on investment? Ah, daddy, what is that? Okay, this is what I look at. I want to, before I put this, how much would I get back in this? Explain in the ways they can understand. As they get older, you discuss your assets with them, you discuss your liabilities. Get them to know you. They should know you well. Because I say to my kids sometimes, you get to a stage where you realize that it's not about you, it's about them. You don't let them know you. As you are talking about, for instance, your dreams for yourself. This was the plans I had before. Oh, if we had done it, tell them about your dreams. Let them know how you think. As you're telling them about your dreams for them, of course, you should paint pictures for them. We all have dreams for our children. As you are painting your dreams for them, they understand how you think. But have these discussions, let it be part of how you talk. Let them know, then, as a faith person, let them know how you depend on God. Let them know what you do, as in, look, yes, we're working hard, we are doing this. There was a day I was this, I prayed, this happened. There was this, let them know you. This is key. Because at the end of the day, let them know how you are attempting to, for instance, as Christians, model the fruits of the Spirit. I love God and I love my neighbor. Let them see you do that. There's a list fruit of, you can ask them, if you ask them to judge you, okay, this is what I'm trying to do. Let them know you. It's important. The more they know you, the more they can say, hey, daddy will not like this, or mommy will not like this, or, and they are sure. Because it's not a case of, will daddy like this, or will daddy not like this. When I say things like train up a child so that they will be in places where you will not get to. Think of it as in the future. They've already gone to the future, you won't be there. But your words and your, okay, daddy would not like this, should guide most of their decisions. They'll get to some decisions they want to take. They'll know, I can't take this because my daddy will not like this. Or, yes, I'll do this, my daddy will be proud. Let your children know you. Let your children know you. That is one of the third strategies before I enter the last one, which I think I'm not doing as good as I thought time-wise. So, but let me quickly enter the fourth strategy, then we can open it up for questions and answers. Strategy number 4. This is unconventional, but I call it love their mother unconditionally. This strategy is almost counterintuitive, but no matter the circumstances, love your children's mother. Chances are the children already love their mother. And when they see you model unconditional love, sacrificial love, whatever, to their mother, they interpret it as love to themselves. It's almost counterintuitive, but it is. Even when the children complain, Daddy, why you kissing? Why you buying flower? Why you buying this? Why you doing that? Love their mother. It grounds the children. It grounds the children. Look, children must should they might pretend, oh, daddy is always doing this, but it gives them peace. It gives them stability. Love their mother. I'm talking of no matter the state of your relationship with their mother, show unconditional love, show unconditional protection. They should see it, they should feel it, they will know this is part of it. No matter the circumstances you guys are in, even if you are, look, never speak ill of their mother. All this, nothing destabilizes the child more than that. Speaking ill of the other of the mother. And just remember what you are doing. You are modeling unconditional love. Because we are talking of training up a child in the way it should go. You are training the child with all this. Love their mother. Let the child sink. The child needs both parents. No matter what you think, the child needs both parents. Let it sink in our consciousness as we deal with our spouses. The child needs both of us. In harmonious, anything, when there's conflict between them, you are destabilizing the child. No matter the case, love their mother unconditionally, model it for them. Be this, oh yes, 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 she's this. Most times they will complain, don't mind daddy, or don't mind mommy, don't mind them. But at the end of the day, it gives them peace, which is all what we are about here. I've rushed through the four strategies. Let me just summarize again so that we can ask questions. Spent about 15 minutes, I hope. I was trying to time myself, but my timer stopped. Let me see. Strategy number one was find or create a model. Strategy number two was know your child individually. Strategy number three was tell them about yourself. And strategy number four, love their mother. You are giving your child a real life model they can work with. You are training them, you are teaching them, they are watching you. Imagine if you know how much your children look at you, you'll be more intentional in all the things you do. Your children look at you for everything. They want to model you, they want to be like you. Some of us are scared that if my child is like me, man, that would be, if you remember that, you'll be intentional, whatever you do around your children, because they will copy you. Consciously or subconsciously, they will copy you and they'll be like you. Let me end with this statement. Just before we end, our influence as fathers transcend our biological children. Train up your child. Train up a child does not mean train up only your children. Your children are not going to live on planet Earth alone. Train your household. When God was commending him, he will train his household before me. Teach your household, train your children. Everybody, you are, as a father, you have influence on not just your children, but a lot of people. Okay? So that's how we can build a nation. Train your household as well. Expand your scope. Oh, I'm just a father to Mr. A. No. You're a father to much more than your biological children look at you as father. So just know that too, there are other people. Train up a child. Any child that comes in your way. Any child that comes in your way, it's let them see something and learn something from you. Train up the children around you. Train up everybody. Finally, I'll just say nothing is as beautiful as a candle that can light another candle. Fathers, we have an opportunity to light candles that we go to places we cannot go. Your candles, your children will enter doors you will not enter. They will go into the future. We are here now. Your children will go into the future you will not get to. Light their candle, let them shine. Thank you very much. This was a wonderful opportunity. Thank you, my Oluwadare family. It was a pleasure. Just let's open it up to questions, answers, and discuss. I want to hear from people. Let's discuss this. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Wow, what an amazing. Let me show you my notepad. One, two, three. I also wrote down a lot of things. Wow, I learned so much. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing with us. And I love the fact that everything you said was from experience, from your personal experience. It made it so relatable. And, I mean, this just goes to say that if you put in the effort, you will definitely reap the results. You said something, about parenting being complicated, and there was something profound you also said about the fact that when the inputs, you give it, the effort, the kind of effort you put in will definitely manifest. I loved so many things that you talked about. Before we go to the questions, I love the part where you talk about playing rough play. Like, that is so, because okay, so let me move away from the mothers. For the mothers, it's like we are always there, in quotes, but the fathers, it's like there's this pedestal that the fathers are on. And I love the fact that you said rough play. Like, there are times where you need to get on the ground, because you cannot remain in your world. You can't be forming igwe and expect the children to come and be worshiping you 24/7 before they have access to you. So I loved, and the reason why I love this is because you are a professional, and you are a C-suite person. So it's not like, I love the fact that that is coming from you. You are able to leave your professionalism at the door, and as you are stepping in, you know that you're coming into your family. You know that you have a role to play in the lives of your children. You know that you are there to influence them. So, whatever it is, the status is, when you get to the house or to your home, you know that there are people that are looking up to you. And you said something that hit me. If, as parents, we know how much our children look up to us, we will be much more intentional. That is so profound, because children will mirror you. You'll be surprised. There was something that I experienced with my own child and with some of my little cousins. Like, it just got to a point where they started, when they were still very young, they started mimicking the way their parents would answer the phone. It was like nobody taught them. They just pick up these things. And that is a phone conversation that everybody can see. We all know that, oh, he's trying to answer the phone like his dad or his mom. But what about other values? What about the things that you cannot really quantify, that the children are soaking in? They are looking at you, they are taking in all of these things. And, it just goes to further reinforce the fact that we need to be super intentional as parents. So I'll go to the first question, and it says, what approaches did you take to foster a strong sense of self-esteem and self-confidence in your children? In the world that we live in today, self-esteem issues are a big deal. By privilege of the work I do, I have seen that the reason why lots of children have issues today is because of these self-esteem problems. So, how have you been able to navigate that with your children? What are the approaches? What strategies did you put in place to ensure that your children are solidly balanced on the scale of self-esteem?
Okay, let me start with that. It's a delicate issue. Each child, as I keep saying, is different. But what a child needs first is, okay, daddy loves me, mommy loves me. I tell my children all the time, if you don't make mistakes, you won't make anything. There's no mistake you make out there that will stop me from loving you. I say it's not even an option. There's the option of, oh, I made so and so mistake, and then I can't come home and tell you. Make it, own it, we'll discuss it. Own your mistakes. Own your mistakes, as in, because what's happening most of the time is you are scared. The fear of doing something, oh, if I do this now, they will laugh at me. I'm not here. Are you for real? Let them, you don't know how many times they laugh at me. They never say, daddy, when last did they laugh at you? And you tell them,
Oh my
okay, I did this. So you too? I say, yes, now. Well, they will laugh. I say, if it's only laugh, say if you are lucky, they will laugh at you. You do this, but the key word is the luck you have is I'm here. Mom is here. Who holds you? You will dust you up and go back out there, and no matter what happens to you out there, because what the child, I keep saying this: love, acceptance. The main thing about self-esteem is acceptance by their colleagues, acceptance. I say, but you know you're already accepted here. So go out there, no matter what happens, you're already accepted here. Do try what you want. Oh, you like this person, or this person did this. Did you cry? I asked them, did you cry? I said, okay. If you didn't cry, then I bet just cry and let it go. And you have to form. He says that is all. Be sure of the love you already have. Be sure of your base. Be sure of your base. Be sure of your base. Your parents love you. Anytime you are very angry, think of okay. For instance, I'll tell him think of your younger brother. That you know how he looks up to you. So you just want to build them up. Assure them of the base of love they already have. I think that's my only example for because you're already loved, you're already accepted. Whatever happens out there, remember what you have. Because
Yeah.
they will knock you down, the world will knock you down. Remember where you're coming from, pick yourself up if you can't, get home, we'll pick you up and move on. But don't let the world put you in a place where you feel I'm all alone, I'm useless, somebody has I say like the one that happened to me. I said, you know the way Gary looks at you. That's my young. You know he looks at that should give you the confidence that you are a wonderful, lovable person. No matter what happens to you out there, just smile and remember that, and you're happy. It's a difficult question. There are some children, and I keep saying this. Some children need more. You have to be more sensitive to some children to know how to. But once you understand your children and they know where you're coming from, you build it up. You build it up with them, but remind them that they're already loved, they're already accepted at home. Show them from. I just for instance, I say, look, my own case. You know, my own case is a lost case. There's nothing you can do. But even look at how this message look at you, your brother, your sibling. Remind them and build play on around all that, and I think it, give them the confidence to fail and come to you, and then you know it's not. We can continue with where we stopped. You start again or whatever, but you're already loved.
Yes.
That's the only way I think I can talk about self-esteem. It's important,
Wow.
build them up, but still emphasize on the existing love you, your wife, that's you and your mother have for them to build them, make them stand.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that. That is really, really profound because, children, I mean, love is like the bedrock of everything they do. Whatever they are going to, or however they are going to relate out there, is also going to fall back on the measure of love they receive from home. Love from home is just like the send forth that we give to them. And I'm so excited, that that is one thing we need to focus on. Thank you so much for that, sir. Then I have another question. How have you been able to instill a sense of responsibility and accountability in your children? Because today we have children who are just growing, they're just maturing in a number of areas, good areas, but responsibility is still far from these children. And because of the terrain we have found ourselves in today, every child needs to be prepared to navigate through life and come out strong, because the challenges will be there. So, how have you been able to instill that sense of responsibility and accountability in your children? A lot of children are not accountable today. They can't even answer to their parents. It's a go with the flow style, anything goes, and all of that. But looking at your children, I know that these people are accountable. They know that they are being held accountable as regards their behavior and everything they put out there. So how were you able to instill this into them? Is it also stemming from your relationship, your connection, or just let's hear how you've been able to navigate that.
Yeah. Keyword is when I started, I think that's my what I call strategy three. Let them know you. Your children know you. For instance, I tell my children every day, I have a budget. Just as an example,
Mm,
I have a budget. I spent 100 naira.
mm,
I show them the Excel sheet. I'm writing
mm,
this 100 naira down. I write under it, I bought this. They say, why you write? I say, look, what I did as a joke, if I don't do it, I'll think I lost money. But the fact is, you need to record everything you spend money on. For example, I give you 100 naira to go and buy this. It's not enough to say, I give you told me you want to go and buy this, you go and come back. I don't expect you to wait for me to call you.
mm,
Hey, young man, I give you 100 naira. What did you do? I told you,
mm,
some the days of asking for receipt are over. Show me. I bought this, I bought this, I bought this, and this is what is left.
mm,
First, from the one we've been trying to keep you. You need to know all these things. I'm expecting this from you.
mm,
They know that I'm expecting this from you. You're like, oh, okay. Two, you are going to school. A lot of parents, for instance, even like an example, what class is your child? Some people ask. I was shocked when some parents they are not aware. They are year four, year one, they are a primary. I said, are you joking?
oh my
Who
God.
will know? Who will know if you don't? I said, your child knows that if he had 90 yesterday, you should be in a position to tell your child, but you made 90 in maths last time. Why are you making 88 now? Some parents don't know. And when
Mm,
your children know that, why are you going to this? I said, I just need to know. But keep, you're all part of knowing your child. You're
mm,
holding them. Oh, last time you got 90. This time you got 88. What happened?
mm,
So if they don't, they might tell you they don't know. I said, okay, so but you now you know that I check. I'm sure next time
mm,
you'll do better. Now you know we are part of it. We are growing up together. I said, look, I'm growing up with you. You are growing up, but next time you see after. So if you've not been checking from the one, they don't know you've been part of their life in every little detail. So that by the time they grow up, okay, that day I want to go and, for instance, I want to go and watch a movie now that they are older. For
mm,
instance, you just say, with who, when,
mm.
which time. They are accountable to you. I said, nobody, just like, there's a word, I think my wife used to say it in pidgin English. I dey come, no be address. As in,
Oh my
I
God.
dey, I'm going somewhere.
Mm,
Where is that? With who? With who? Does the parent know? Are the parents aware?
mm,
Oh, even we live in an estate. I'm going to the playground. With who will be there? You have to be part of their life from there. So that if you're not part of the little things, you won't be part of the big things.
mm,
So I just summarize. So if you've not been holding them accountable for small things, they'll grow, they feel they don't owe you any explanation.
mm,
And yeah, I mean, Daddy, you're disturbing me. I say, I can't help myself. I
mm,
just can't help you. They just know, okay, you can't help me. Yeah, just so that you stop disturbing me. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. I spent this time now, this time. They have to know you are part of their life from day one.
mm,
And it does not happen overnight, and it's not going to start. So even if you've not been doing it, you want to start now, build on it, build on it, build on it. Because you have to, I said something along the line. The relationship with your children is your responsibility. And
mm,
it's never too late to start. It's your response. It's not too late. We didn't do it before. But now that I think I've been trained, we went to one training, we went to one seminar, they said this. How do I now start this in my house with my child? He will resist. You've not been doing it before. You know that, okay, you know what? Now I know better. Let's start doing this. When you get home, call me. When you are going out, when you get to so so place, call me. Just tell me I'm there. We're not doing it before, but let's start doing it. Is that okay? It will take a while, but you can start from any time. I keep telling you, once you start and you get it right once, the child is hooked. You start doing it. Even
mm.
if you've not been doing it, start. So that's the best I can say on that one.
Wow. Wow, this has been so insightful. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So I have one more question for you, sir. Okay, so how have you been able to? We know that children are faced with so many distorted information flying about now, and it's actually a very tough time for them. But how have you been able to address and navigate the influence of peer pressure and societal expectations on their development? How have you been able to create a balance such that they have their own identity, and that you also see what you want to see in them? So, in as much as you're releasing them and giving them wings to fly, but you are still able to curtail, even without you curtailing their actions, they know they've gotten to that point where they say, okay, even though we are faced with these challenges out there, this is how we're going to stand. This is our compass. These are the things that we are going to do. So, how have you been able to get your children to that point where they can navigate all of the distractions that they are faced with today, or that every teenager is faced with today?
The question, what you're asking right now is, let's see, we are living in what I call one of the most complex times. Take this gay issue, for instance. Gay, they are distorting the world. At least that's my view. And if you don't, and what I've told my kids, especially about those that are like when they were in the Western world, come back to the girls, go, they are living in a world where the compass is love your God, love your neighbor. Your only weapon is love. You know somebody that is going mad. You tell them, this is, I'm not saying, you're not judging anybody. First, it's not your job and it's not your place to judge anybody. That's why I keep telling them. Just love them. Love them. Love them. You find that at the end of the day, we're all human beings trying to survive a complex world. Once you have that at the back of your your relationship with people, I'm sure you can navigate a lot of complex situations. Know your principles, know what you believe. Know what, for instance, like, I don't mind. There are some things I don't even understand. I expect you, hey, you guys are younger now. Can you teach me what's going on with this? For instance, I use the gay thing.
Wow.
What is it about? What do you understand about it? Tell me. Why are they so why are they so vicious about forcing us into transgenders, multisexual? But what is the catch? I say at the end of the day, it's beyond us. The only law I know is man and woman. You guys explain to me. You find out these conversations I learned from them. In addition to, so as they telling me, I say, okay, you find that your only solution, your only defense is still love. You cannot. It's the way somebody put it. We are preparing our children for the world. We are not preparing the world for the children because we don't even know the world. We don't know what's going to be in the world they live in.
Yeah.
So what you are doing is just pouring your heart out into the child. Look, this is me. This is what we know. But the world you are going to live in is going to be different. But you can fall back on the foundations you have with us, but be ready to just. I found the best defense, the best weapon is love. Love the people you are working with. You might not like what they are doing, so long as they are not breaking the law, follow the laws you are living with. Like when one of my sons was in Europe, I said, you don't you don't have to like what they say. Oh, Pride Month, Pride Week, but just treat all of them as human rights issues. Love them. Okay, they want to do this. So long as they are not forcing you, nobody can force you. You believe what you believe. The world cannot force you to bend once you have your. But know where you come from, know where you are going to. But yes, look at them, love them, and live with them because we have to live with the world. This is the world we're in now. Live in it, love the world. But love is a defense. Love is a weapon. Love will protect your heart. Love will protect your heart because it will stop you from judging some things. And if you start judging them, you miss. Just love them. Oh, this man is crazy. but love it, but I love him anyway. The way they think is mad, but I love him anyway. You just find that okay, I can go. Okay, I love him anyway. He's just a human being. He bleeds like me. He does like me. So I don't understand your lifestyle. I don't know anything about it. But what do you want of me? Live with them as just like somebody I can love eventually. Just I don't have to agree with your lifestyle. They won't force you. And at the end of the day, nobody will force you to be gay. Nobody will force you to go on their gay parade. Nobody will go on their gay pride. I'm just using that as an example. You are going to encounter things that you don't understand at all. Your biggest defense is love. Your biggest weapon. It defends your heart, defends your mind, and also defends how you relate with them. Yeah, that's it. I think somebody just who's this Tribe Family Network. It protects your
Yeah,
heart.
love to protect
It
us.
protects you. Yeah. So just love them and believe what you want to believe. Tell them I'm not fighting anybody. I'm not. Yes, you come to my church, we preach, but outside the church, outside this, yeah, this is what you. Because even it's against the law, so in some countries to preach against anti-gay. But if you're in my church, yes, I can do that. That's the place I'm protected. But after that, just love them. I love you. Jesus loves you. That's what I can tell you. And you know.
Wow. Wow. Oh my God, this has been so, so good. Thank you so much, sir. I have learned a lot as well, and I believe everyone on the call has learned so much too. And I know that a lot of people are also going to get on the replay. There's so much to learn from this conversation. For me, a lot of things have stood out, but I'll just highlight about three or four. When you talked about modeling, getting a model, I loved the fact that you mentioned that you can actually combine, traits from different models that you've gotten and create your own system, create your own model. You talked about getting a model from the Bible. It could be from books, from the movies, your mind, the one you create yourself, what you're looking at achieving, the kind of parent you want to be. That's the one you create in your mind. And then from all of these channels, you can now build that one you're going to pattern your parenting after. I really loved that. And then I also loved it when you said, when you talked about conflict, and that the key is to deal with it timely and respectfully, because conflicts will come. Like you said, I mean, there are so many things that they are teaching you now that you don't even know about. And the world in which we grew up does not exist anymore. The world has evolved so much. And if we sit down and say, no, it's either my way or the highway, there will definitely be conflict. Even if you are not going that route of, okay, you do it as I say, or, it's something else. Even if you're not going that route, there is still a huge gap between the two generations. And so conflicts will come. And I loved how you said that we had to treat it, timely and respectfully before things begin to degenerate. And then you also said what you do for child A might not work with child B. I also love to mention to parents that your strategy can be the same for the children, but you have to tweak your approach, because if you can scold a child in front of all his siblings and the child will just laugh it off. The child is very carefree, he doesn't care. But you scold another child who is sensitive in the presence of his siblings, you would have just ended up breaking the spirits of that child. So I love the fact that you said you need to understand what works for each child. And then you said, don't let your children get to the point where they say, I don't care. Hey, a lot of children are at that point now. Like, I work with children like on a daily basis, and lots of children are at that point where they're like, I don't care. Do your worst. I love that you have highlighted this, especially for the fathers. And then you also talked about, oh, this one was so good, about telling the children about yourself. I mean, you want to know them, but you're not even giving them an avenue to know you. That is cheating. It's not fair. I love that. In fact, I'm going to highlight that. Let them get to know you as well. Don't give them room to make assumptions about you. they'll just end up filling in so many gaps. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, sir. And then you said something about making mistakes. This one really stood out for me. If you make it, own it, we'll discuss it. Oh my God. If you make it, own it, we'll discuss. This one has pushed children away from their parents. I mean, children make mistakes. The first thing they should be saying is, I need to call my mom. I need to call my dad, not I need to run away from home. But all of this still boils down to the connection we share with our children, how much we know them, and how much they know us. And you also talked about not provoking them to the point where they feel unloved. If you are not part of the small things, how do you want to be part of the big things? Parents say, oh, my children are not talking to me. How? Where do they want to start talking to you from? When you were shushing them, when they were blabbing according to you, when they were telling you all their beautiful stuff and all of that. But all of those things did not matter to you. And now you want to be in their lives suddenly. I am so glad that you highlighted that point. If you are not part of the small things, you can't be part of the big things. They will not talk to you. They will go and look for those that are cool, those that always listen to them. Thank you so much. This has been an insightful conversation. We have learned
Thank
a
you.
lot. Thank you for, okay, so there was one thing you said at the beginning. You said teaching is important, but training is even more important. And you asked the question, who trained the fathers? Men, please let us come and be learning. Learning is not for mothers alone. And that's why Father's Day had already passed. Father's Day was around the corner. I'm like, if it's Mother's Day, we will go all out to do something. No, we need to do something for the fathers. And that's why we're having this conversation at the end of the month. The men need to come out and learn as well. We need to feel your impact in the lives of the children. I mean, there was something you said. I said that earlier. We don't know how much these children are observing us. If we know, we'll be more intentional. Fathers need to understand that their impact in their children's lives is indelible, like it is huge. And so this is just an opportunity for us to also contribute our own quota, to get the fathers to be part of this awareness we are creating, that they also need to learn. You said that men need to learn. Men need to learn. Please, daddies, you are not assistant parents. We are not relegating you to the back side of parenting. Please come and sit with us in front. We need you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you so much.
On behalf of everyone here and those who will watch the replay, want to say big thank you for sharing your time with us and for sharing from your wealth of experience. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you too. Bye bye.
Bye for now. Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you. I hope you had a great time. I learned a lot from that session, and we cannot. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. This is another role model mommy. Like, she's ha ha ha. She's coming. She's been on our program before, and I'm going to bring her back again. As we talk about the research, the philosophies, and all of that, we also need to hear from those that have walked the talk, those that have raised children who have passed the toddler age, the school age, the teenagers, and are becoming young adults. So we celebrate you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, the Thrive Family Network, for being here with us as well. Thank you. So if you know any father that needs to hear about this conversation, please share this video with them. We're going to be coming back at 7:45 p.m. where we'll be having another dad share from his experience, how the impact of his father in his life, how it played out. So I want to invite you again to show up at 7:45 as we get on another beautiful and insightful conversation. Thank you so much. And it's bye for now.